Right, so with this squad builder, it's going to be all players that have played for West Ham before and now play for someone else. So jump straight into it. The first player is goalkeeper, and that is Robert Green. We signed him from Norwich in January 2006. He was alright for West Ham. I mean, in the promotion season a few seasons back, he was one of the key players, and he's had some quality games for us. Mainly the 1-0 win at Arsenal, and then the game to keep us up against Man United at Old Trafford. But he left in June 2012 for QPR on a free because he didn't want to sign a new contract because he wanted a new challenge, as he said. But overall, he did make 219 appearances for us, which is pretty good. So yeah, on to the right back, and that is Glenn Johnson. He was in the youth team, as most players are, from 2000 till 2002. And he came into the first team in 2002. He only made 15 appearances for us though, before he left for Chelsea in 2003 for about 6 mil, I think it was. He weren't. Well, he's still quite young, so it was hard to talk about him well. But I mean, he's had a good career since then. He played for Chelsea, now he's at Liverpool. Made quite a few England appearances. He wasn't a bad player. Right, so onto the first centre back, and we've got Ferdinand, who I did get suspended in the last game I played, hence the red card. Yeah, like most players as usual, he was in the youth team as well. He joined up in 1992, and he come out of the youth team in 1996 into the first team. And in 1998, sorry, he became the Hammer of the Year when he was only 19 years old. I mean, he was decent for West Ham. I mean, I don't remember fully what he was like because I mean I'm not that old myself. But I mean, when you see stuff about him, he was decent at West Ham. And he made 127 appearances before we sold him to Leeds for 18 mil, which at the time was, I think it was a British transfer record, and he was the most expensive defender. He was either in the country or in the world, and that was one of them. And then he went on to Man United in whatever year for like 30 mil or something. But I mean, he's had a quality career. I mean, he's had his testimonial for Man United weren't long ago. But he's one of them players that you can class him as a legend. I mean, he's been playing at the top level for so long. He's on a bit of a decline now. He's getting problems with his back or something, and his age, his legs are going. But he can still do a job. Next defender is Mascherano, who I know when he played for us, I mean he only played 5 times, but I know he was a centre mid, but for the sake of this I'll put centre back, seeing his card is centre back as well. And he was only with us for 6 months until he got loaned to Liverpool in the January, and then he joined them permanently, and then he went on to Barcelona. I mean, he struggled at West Ham, he didn't get into it, and I know there was a lot of things with the Argentinian manager at the time saying he didn't want him to stay at West Ham because he weren't getting the game time and he wanted him to join Juventus or something. Yeah, I mean, he's a good player now, but at West Ham he just weren't doing it at all. He probably struggled to get into the team. The next player is a left back. That's Konchesky, who was a boyhood West Ham fan. He had a season ticket when he was younger. He did play in the academy. He signed up in the academy before he went on to the Charlton youth team, and then we signed him properly in 2005. And he made 59 appearances. He scored 2 goals, one of which was that FA Cup cross shot goal. I mean, you can still debate now whether it was a cross or a shot. I don't really care because he scored, even though we did have that heartbreaking loss. But I finally got over that loss, I think. Although I still don't like Gerrard. But yeah, then he joined Fulham in 2007 for £3 million. and now he's at Leicester. I mean, I quite like Konchesky. I thought he was decent. I was quite surprised he left, but I think there was something about him and Kirbishley didn't get along, and that was the reason he left. But I thought he was decent. On to first centre mid, and you know it's a controversial one for West Ham fans, but that's Frank Lampard. He was in the youth team from 1995 till 2001. No, not the youth team, in the West Ham team even, but he was in the youth team originally. He made 148 appearances, scored 24 goals. Now a lot of West Ham fans don't like Lampard, as simple as that. But as a football fan, you can't deny that he is a quality player. I mean, he signed for Chelsea in 2001 for 11 mil, and he's been like their best player for the last 10, 11 years. He's their all-time top goal scorer. So from a footballing point of view, you can't not like him. But as a West Ham fan, then you know you can see why they do so they don't like him. But that's a different story for a different day. Next centre mid is Michael Carrick. He was in the academy from 1997 to 1999. He joined up in the first team in 1999, and he was there until 2004. But I know when he first started, he had some problems with injuries because it was something like he was growing too fast and his body couldn't cope with it, or something like that. Overall, he made 136 appearances and scored 6 goals before he joined Spurs for 3.5 million in 2004. And now, I mean, he's at Man United and he's easily one of the best players. He's like one of the best passers in the world. And even on this game, he's so good. His passing is ridiculous. Like, you could just ping a through ball and it'll be the perfect through ball. Right, so on to the final centre mid, and that is Burami. He signed in 2008, he left in 2011. He only made 58 appearances. I know a lot of it was down to the fact he had a lot of his problems with his injuries. I know he did his Achilles, I think it was, and then he done something to his knee ligaments. So a lot of the time he was spent out, or he just weren't fit enough to play. When in that 58 appearances, he did score 4 goals. Which isn't great, but it'll do. Yeah, he left in 2011 when he joined Fiorentina. In game, he isn't that great as well. Like he's such an awkward player to use. But anyway, onto the cam, and we've got Diamante, who personally I thought was quality when he was at West Ham. I mean, he was only there for 1 season. He made 28 appearances, scored 7 goals. I remember being at the Birmingham home game, and he ran the show. He was by far the best player on the pitch that night, and he scored that quality free kick. And I know that in that season he was put forward. I can't remember if he won or not, but he was one of the candidates for the performance of the year from like the West Ham website. Yeah, and I don't know if you know this, but he was actually the 800th West Ham player. So, as a little fact, yeah. Yeah, but he left in 2010 when he signed for Brescia, if that's how you say it. But I know that there was a lot of problems with payment to West Ham because they were doing instalments and they owed however much. And I think, from what I last heard, they still owe £500,000, or euros, whatever it was. Whether that's the case now, I'm still not 100% sure. But in game, he's decent as well. He's got good free kick stats, and his passing's pretty decent as well. Anyway, on to the first striker, and it's another controversial one. That's Jermaine Defoe. And I know a lot of West Ham fans don't like him, but I would quite happily have him back, even more so with the striker problems we've got at the moment. I mean, he was at West Ham from 1999 till 2004. Overall, we played 105 games, scored 41 goals, which is good considering how young he was. I think by the time he left, he was only 21. So when he made his first team debut, when he was like 16, 17, I think it was. And I know a lot of West Ham fans don't like him because he put in the transfer request 24 hours after we got relegated or something. But again, like Lampard, you can't, as a football fan, you cannot deny that he's a quality player. Yeah, he left. He joined Spurs for 6 mil in the January of 2004. After he had the problems with the transfer request, and then he was refusing to sign a new contract, and he kept getting sent off, and so in the end we just got rid of him. But in game, he's quality. He's one of the best strikers I've used so far in game, and there's quite a few goals that I'll stick at the end of the video, and you can see him. And the last striker, of course, is the one and only Carlos Tevez, who is you can't explain. He literally, all you can say about him is legend. At West Ham, he is a hero. I mean, he was only there for 1 season, and for a player to make that much of an impact on all West Ham fans in a season, and us West Ham fans, we're not an easy bunch to please. But he was insane. I mean, when he first joined, there was shock like that he signed with Mascherano. And it's so stupid to say, but when he first joined, he couldn't get in the West Ham team, and that is ridiculous. That a player of Tevez's skill and whatever could not get in the West Ham team. But in the end, he played 26 games and scored 7 goals. But a lot of them were towards the end of the season. I think it was 7 goals in 12 games. I think it was at the end of the season, which ended up keeping us up. He scored the goal on the last game of the season at Old Trafford, which then sent Sheffield United down. Ha ha ha. But then, yeah, there was a lot of problems with him, with the third-party ownership and all that shit. But eventually he joined Man United, and we only got 2 mil for him, which was paid by the company that owed him, so that we would sell his contract. Something like that. It was far too complicated to explain. But yeah, that's the team. I mean, I quite happily have a team like that right now at West Ham. Yeah, anyway, end the video up with some goals that I've scored with this team. And if you like the video, obviously like it, subscribe to the channel, comment below. If you want to talk to me on Twitter, you can. Twitter name's @WillMason94. I'll put a link in the description below. And yeah, nice one. Cheers.